Let us consider another concept. It is principle of superposition. Whenever a body or a bar subjected to load, stress will induce in the body. Whenever a bar of uniform cross-sectional area subjected to single load, stresses will develop at each and every point of the body. To calculate stress, we use or we can use the applied load divided by the original cross-sectional area. Means when a bar or a member subjected to axial load, we can calculate stress, corresponding strain, and if at all if we know the extension under the load, we can calculate Young's modulus also. In practice, bar may subjected to a single load or bar may subjected to number of loads at different points. Under that circumstances, so we cannot use the single conventional equation for change in length delta L is equal to PL by AE. For that we use the principle of superposition. According to principle of superposition, whenever a number of forces acting on a bar or body, the resultant strain according to principle of superposition is equal to the algebraic sum of strain caused by the individual forces. When a body is subjected to number of forces, the resultant strain will be equal to the algebraic sum of the strains caused by the individual forces. Here if a body is subjected to number of forces, say for example, let us consider a bar of uniform cross section. Let this bar is subjected to number of forces, say this is P1, say P2, P3, P4 like this. Here we cannot use the same concept to calculate stress and corresponding strain. We cannot use any one of the P load, applied load. Here since there are 4 loads here or 4 forces. Total strain due to this number of applied loads is equal to algebraic sum of the strains caused by the individual forces, and also stresses in the individual sections is equal to load acting on that individual portion divided by the cross sectional area. In order to find out strain and stress under these circumstances, first you have to consider the free body diagram of the given bar by separating various portions or segments. After separating the various portions, we have to check the equilibrium condition of each portions by considering the forces acting from left side or right side. Then after checking for the equilibrium conditions of the portions, we can find out the strain in individual portion because of the applied load, and also we can find out the stresses. In this course, we are going to alter the the intermediate loads, automatically it gets altered. We are not going to alter, automatically it gets altered in order to maintain the portion, different portions in equilibrium condition. If L1 is the length of the first portion, L2 is the length of second portion, L3 is the length of the third portion. If A is the cross sectional area of the uniform cross sectional area, since it is, and E is the Young's modulus of the material, then total strain caused by these individual forces is equal to delta L1 plus delta L2 plus delta L3. Here delta L1, delta L2, delta L3 can be conveniently written as say P1 by L1, P1 L1 by AE plus P2 L2 by AE and P3 L3 by AE. Here A and E is constant because of same material, bar of same material and cross sectional area is same. Only changes here is the loads P1, P2, P3 and L1, L2, L3. Of course, here I have written this is general expression. So these the sign convention of these expressions will change, depends upon the nature of the load the portions will subject it. If the individual portion subjected to tensile load, automatically this term will be positive. If the portion subjected to compressive load, this becomes negative. Carefully, by using this positive or negative sign in this expression, we can obtain the change in length. Similarly, we can also obtain stress in individual portion. Stress after balancing the load acting on individual portions, we can calculate stress, say F1, F2 and F3 are the stresses in these three portions. F1 is equal to P1 divided by A1 or A, F2 is equal to P2 divided by cross sectional area and F3 is equal to P3 divided by cross sectional area. And here the given bar is having a uniform cross sectional area. We can also come across sometimes bar of varying cross section like this. If the bar of varying cross section subjected to number of forces like this, say P1, P2, P3, P4. So here also we adopt the same principle. So total strain or resultant strain due to this load is equal to algebraic sum of the strains caused by the individual force on different portions. The same procedure we adopt here also. First we draw the free body diagram. After drawing free body diagram, means we take out the portions. Say for example, this is the 1, 2, 3. First we consider first portion like this, then second portion, then third portion. After separating the portions, we check the equilibrium condition of each portions. While doing so automatically this the internal loads gets altered. Then that altered load will be considered as the load acting on each the portions. If the Young's modulus of the material, bar is made up of same material, Young's modulus will be same and cross sectional areas are different. Here you can write A1, A2, A3 and we'll retain Young's modulus same. Suppose if both Young's modulus, cross sectional area anyway it is different. If the material bar is made up of different material, then Young's modulus A1 Young's modulus of the first material is E1, Young's modulus of the second material is E2, and Young's modulus of the third material is E3. So here this becomes A1, E1, A2, E2, and A3, E3. Change in length can be calculated. Again, in the expression depends upon the nature of the load, the portion subjected to maintain equilibrium. We decide the positive or negative sign. So tensile force, it is positive, and compressive force negative. Also here again you can calculate the induced stresses due to this applied load. To calculate induced stresses in the different portions, we have to use the load, the final load after balancing the individual portions. Final load acting on the individual portion divided by this cross-sectional area. That individual cross-sectional area gives us the stresses induced in the different portions. So like this we can to understand this principle of superposition. So now let us take a numerical problem for our better understanding. A brass bar having cross-sectional area of 300 millimeter square is subjected to an axial forces as shown in figure. It is asked to find the total elongation of the bar by taking Young's modulus as (84 GPa). The given bar is like this, a bar of uniform cross-sectional area the first portion is 500 millimeter, the second portion of the bar is 1400 meter, the third portion is 1000 millimeter. Subjected to forces, axial force. It is to the left hand side, there is 50 kilonewton tensile load, and at the intermediate point there is 80 kilonewton load. Next, here at this junction between second and third, there is another load of 20 kilonewton. Lastly, at the right hand face, there is another load of 10 kilonewton. For this condition, it is asked to find total elongation. A brass bar having a cross sectional area of 300 millimeter square, means a bar of uniform cross section, is subjected to axial forces, 4 forces, and it is given in the figure. Asked to find total elongation of the bar by taking Young's modulus as 84 GPa. As per the principle of superposition, when a bar is subjected to number of forces, then the resultant strain will be equal to the algebraic sum of strains caused by the individual forces. For that, we have to draw the free body diagram of the bar by separating different portions. Then we have to check the equilibrium conditions of different portions. Next, we decide the actual load acting on the different portions. Usually there is alteration of this the intermediate loads, that we will do it. Then finally, depends upon the nature of the loads, the portion subjected, we write the expressions for total change in length. Delta L is equal to delta L1 plus delta L2 delta L3. There we consider a suitable sign conventions. Now, let us separate these the portions. Let us designate this as number 1 and number 2, number 3. Draw the free body diagram for this condition, and let us produce the intersection points, junction point like this. Consider the first portion. Now, checking equilibrium condition of each portion is nothing but just by comparing the forces acting on different the portions, we can check the individual portion for their equilibrium condition. We consider, so this is 500 millimeter. We consider the force acting on the first portion as it is. For that we take section here, just comparing the forces. Take section here, consider forces to the left hand side and consider forces to the right hand side. If you take section here, to the left side there is only one force, 50 kilonewton, and consider that force as it is along with their direction and magnitude. It is 50 kilonewton. Now, consider the forces to the right side of the section. Forces means forces acting on the remaining portion of the bar. There are 3 forces here. So 80 kilonewton, 20 kilonewton and 10 kilonewton. And consider one direction as positive, automatically the opposite direction will be negative. Here, if I consider the rightward as positive, automatically the leftward forces will be negative. So here in the rightward direction 80 kilonewton force acting, then this will be negative, plus 80 minus 20 minus 10. Same thing I can write here, just draw a line without mentioning the direction. So 80 it is acting in the rightward direction, 80 minus 20 acting in the leftward direction, again minus 10. So 80 minus 20 minus 10, that will gives us the 50 kilonewton, and that remainder load 80 minus 20 minus 10, that remainder load acting in the rightward direction. So we can decide the arrow direction now is equal to 50 kilonewton. Now the portion of the beam, that is first portion of the beam, is in equilibrium under the action of 50 kilonewton tensile force. We altered this 80 kilonewton load. So this portion is in equilibrium. Next, let us consider the second portion. Now check the equilibrium condition of this second portion. For that, let us take section here. If you take section here and compare the forces, consider portions to the left hand side and consider forces to the right hand side. Let us consider forces to the left hand side. If you consider forces to the left hand side, there are two forces here, one 80 kilonewton acting in the rightward direction and 50 kilonewton load acting in the leftward direction. Consider 80 kilonewton as positive, and automatically the leftward will be negative. 80 minus 50 is equal to 30 kilonewton. So now you can say, consider here to the left hand side. I am considering 80 kilonewton as positive. 80, anyone you can consider positive, automatically the other direction will be negative. So 80 minus 50, it is 30 kilonewton, and that remainder load acting in the rightward direction. See here, 50 minus 80 minus 30, or 80 minus 50, 30, and that you have to remember this is higher load. 80 minus 50, that is equal to 30 kilonewton, and that remainder load acting in the rightward direction, 50, that is 30 kilonewton. So we have to consider the direction now. This is 30 kilonewton. Next, now let us balance, check for the equilibrium condition by considering forces, whether the calculation is correct or not, whether we have balanced left hand side forces or not. That you can check by considering the forces to the right side of the section. Here to the right side of the section, again there are two forces. So both are acting in the leftward direction. So leftward direction means it is same 20 plus 10, 30. So the resultant force acting in the leftward direction only. So we can decide easily the direction of force. Here 20 plus 30 is equal to 30 kilonewton. So portion 2 is in equilibrium under the action of 30 kilonewton compressive force. So already we have discussed that there is alteration, the intermediate loads gets altered. So this automatically 80 and 20 kilonewton gets altered. This 80 kilonewton becomes 50 for the first portion, and 20 kilonewton becomes 30 kilonewton for the second portion. Now consider the third portion. To check again equilibrium of this third portion, take section here. Compare the forces. Consider forces acting to the left of this section and right here along with their direction. If you consider forces to the left of this section, there are three forces here. Consider one direction as positive, automatically the other direction will be negative. So, by observation we can take 80 kilonewton first, then 50 kilonewton and 20 kilonewton. Treat the rightward as positive, automatically leftward will be negative. So, draw a line here before without the direction. First it is 80, next 50, minus 20, because when we consider the rightward as positive, automatically left will be negative. 80, even you can consider like this also, one by one to avoid confusion. Just minus 50 plus 80 minus 20. Minus 50 minus 20 plus 80. So, that gives us 10 kilonewton. The remainder load acting in this 80 is greater than sum of this 50 and 20, and the 80 kilonewton originally acting in the rightward direction. Now, we can decide the direction of load acting on the third portion. It is 10 kilonewton compressive force. And if you consider force to the right side of the section, there is only one force acting, 10 kilonewton, and consider that force as it is. This is 10 kilonewton. And write the length of these portions. (1400) and length of the last portion it is 1000 millimeter. And this is called as free body diagram. Now, portion of the different portions of the beam, original beam is in equilibrium under the action of these forces. So, 50 kilonewton force acting on first portion is treated as P1, and 30 kilonewton compressive load acting on second portion is can be considered as P2, and 10 kilonewton compressive force or load acting on third portion can be treated as P3. So, we know L1, L2, L3 already given cross sectional area A and Young's modulus E. So, we can comfortably calculate the asked value, it is total elongation. Now, let us write the given value based on the given data and based on this free body diagram. Given data, A is equal to 300 millimeter square cross sectional area, then Young's modulus of the material E is equal to 84 GPa. You can see the Young's modulus value. The given bar is a brass bar. Brass bar, only the steel having the highest value of Young's modulus is about 200 GPa. All other material having Young's modulus smaller than 200 GPa. 84 GPa, that is equal to, if you convert this into Newton per millimeter square, 84 into 10 power 9 Newton per meter square, that is equal to 84 into 10 power 9, that divided by 10 power 6 Newton per millimeter square, that is equal to, you can make it as simple, 84 into 10 power 3 Newton per millimeter square. So, we have cross sectional area, we have Young's modulus. Now, let us consider the loads acting on different portions. So, P1 is equal to 50 kilonewton, that is equal to 50 into 10 power 3 Newton. P2 is equal to minus 30 into 10 power 3 Newton, it is compressive force. When you treat tensile as positive, automatically compressive force will be negative. Then P3 is equal to minus 10 kilonewton, that is equal to 10 into minus 10 into 10 power 3 Newton. Asked to calculate total elongation, whether it's elongation or contraction, it's a change in length. Next, we have total elongation comma delta L is equal to, since there are three portions here, we can write expression in three terms. Delta L is equal to delta L1 plus delta L2 plus delta L3. This can also be written as, that is equal to P1 L1 by A1 E1 plus P2 L2 by A2 E2 plus P3 L3 divided by A3 E3. Since cross sectional area and Young's modulus is same, we can, this equation reduces to P1 L1 divided by AE plus P2 L2 divided by AE plus P3 L3 divided by AE. That is equal to, you can take common factor AE, P1 L1 plus P2 L2 plus P3 L3. Since here we have replaced A1 E1 A2 E2 and A3 E3 as AE, because material cross sectional area is same and Young's modulus will be, it's also same. Now carefully you have to substitute the values here by considering the sign conventions of P1, P2, P3 along with A and E. That is equal to 1 over A is 300 into E is 84 into 10 power 3 into P1 L1, it is portion 1 is subjected to tensile load, it is 50 into 10 power 3, L1 is 500. Next, plus P2 L2. Here P2 is negative because the portion 2 is subjected to compressive load, automatically it becomes negative, minus 30 into 10 power 3 multiplied by the length of second portion is 1400 and plus P3 L3. P3 means it is again portion 3 is also subjected to compressive load, it is negative, minus 10 into 10 power 3 into L3 is 1000. While substituting values, we should be very careful whether we have to consider as it is positive value, then while substituting negative value. Even suppose if you consider negative here itself and again here if you substitute negative value, negative become positive. No, that won't give a correct answer. We should be very careful while considering the sign conventions. Solving this, we will get delta L. It is asked to calculate total elongation based simply it is because it is subjected to 4 loads, assuming that it is there is increase in length because of this load, but after analysis the worked out value comes, it is negative. This negative value of delta L indicates there is a contraction. Negative value of delta L indicates change in length is contraction. So like this we can solve problem. For our better understanding, again we will consider some more problem with bar of Zebramin cross section area subjected to different loads.